Hi, I'm Francesca.
I'm Victoria.
I'm Laura.
And welcome to Novel. All right. Well, don't know what happened there, but welcome to Novel Nights. I'm Victoria.
I'm Laura.
I'm Francesca.
And today we are sharing all things winter reads, okay? We'll be sharing some classic winter books, some KU fantasy, and some snowy reads. So lots to look forward to. Can't wait to share the books with you. But before we get into it, we have some new things. So first and foremost, okay, winter reading guide coming tomorrow. I am so excited. It's going to be a Substack exclusive. So if you aren't already on Substack, join the Substack community. More information on why it's going to be a Substack exclusive tomorrow. But I know it's my guide, but I love the cover. Shout out Lauren, the cover designer. She does an amazing job each and every time. So yeah, winter reading guide tomorrow over on Substack. But also Francesca has Romanceopoly, which was announced. Yay, tell us about it.
Yeah, finally we announced the 2025 Romanceopoly Challenge. So it's a year-long reading challenge. You guys can join us starting January or really anytime during the year. There are basically 20 main prompts. So you can read 20 books or you can do more. So this year we're doing a couple of different things that are bonus, extra, optional for you guys to join in. There's a really cute board that we designed for this year. It's basically a town, or you're really moving through 4 different towns. It's all very seasonal planned. And yeah, I'm super excited about it. All the information is over at romanceopoly.com. All the prompts, all the details, all the downloadables. There's lots of ways for you guys to track it. So all the resources are there. You can print out the boards and just have plenty of fun with a very variety of reading. Basically, that's kind of like how I like to structure it.
Yay! So see, 2 new things. Again, winter reading guide. It's winterreadingguide.com. Thank you, Frank, because I forgot to promote that. Winterreadingguide.com, or go straight to Substack, and then romanceopoly.com. Listen, see, because we're friends, I got to see the prompts, and I'm telling y'all, it's exciting, okay? It's really exciting. So we have lots to look forward to with that as well. But like we said, today's show is all about winter reads. I'm going to be sharing some classics. Laura is going to be sharing KU fantasy, and Francesca is sharing those snowy reads. So here's the thing. I'm going first for a peaceful life on the back end. Again, new platform, everyone. So be very kind to us. Like I said, I will be sharing some classic books with you. These are classic books that are not necessarily all set in winter, but they give you winter vibes. So these are classics that are better read in winter. That's kind of how I'm pitching them. And I don't know about you all, but for me, winter is when I kind of get together with those chunky books. And though this isn't the chunkiest of books, it is definitely chunky. And well, the first book I was going to share with you isn't there. So let's go to book 2, is Jane Eyre. Now, I think Jane Eyre is a book that gives winter vibes. So it's gothic, which I know people associate with fall, but you still have the mystery, you have the romance. And just to give you a backstory, if you don't know, Jane is an orphan girl who grows up in a really harsh environment, but eventually we see her become a governess at Thornfield Hall, where we also see her kind of, catching feelings for Mr. Rochester. Now, it's one of them toxic relationships, heads up. But seeing Jane go on this journey, it's also a journey of like self-discovery. We see that the residence has lots of secrets, and so does Mr. Rochester. So for me, I feel the atmospheric descriptions of just the setting is very perfect for those cold, wintry nights. I personally love the strong heroine who's kind of fighting everything against her, and everything against her is just very cold and icy, kind of like winter. But I think it's perfect for the season, lots of fun, and just perfect for winter reading. So if you haven't read Jane Eyre already, now's a good time. Book 2 is Sherlock Holmes, because for me, again, I just feel puzzles, mysteries, everything of the like is ideal for winter. Now, this book cover that I'm sharing with you is a collection that includes all the short stories and novels that feature Sherlock Holmes. This is the ultimate. It's one of the chunky books at the bottom of my shelf. It's a chunker. And it's just really kind of like revisiting some of my favorite characters. We also get to see Holmes's famous loyal friend, Dr. Watson. And we're going to foggy London. And I kind of feel like London is perpetually a winter city, unless, we have heat waves, which that's a whole separate thing. But I just think winter is meant for mysteries. So you're going to have lots of intriguing mysteries in here. Of course, Sherlock Holmes is known for his razor sharp logic. There's lots of witty banter with Watson, so that's also really good. And again, I just think Victorian setting, winter, must read. But I'm curious if anyone considers themselves, like a detective or anything. Let me know in the comments what's your favorite Sherlock Holmes story. I have a hard time picking a favorite, but I'd love to hear one of yours. And if you've ever solved any of the mysteries, before you got to the end. Like I said, to me, winter screams mystery. So if you haven't already, read Agatha Christie, specifically Murder on the Orient Express. This is a classic whodunit. Now, this one has snow, okay? This one has snow because Poirot, who's our detective at the center of this one, is aboard this really luxurious train that ends up stranded in the snow. Of course, a murder occurs, and now Poirot has to solve it. So I love this book. I think it shouldn't be your first Christie. I kind of feel like you have to work your way up to this one because this one is really good. But the characters are really fascinating. Seeing Poirot figure out who the killer is also interesting. And just kind of seeing him try to piece together the clues before the train gets going again is fun. It's a locked room mystery, which I also think is a perfect mystery for wintertime, snowbound train, and just it's very atmospheric. And I think that this twist in this book is really shocking, and it will have you rethink anything. With that said, I mean, what would you do if you were stuck on a train and it was snowing? I'm just asking for a friend. It's not fun though. All right, next is Great Expectations. Now, I don't know about anybody here, but for me, when it comes to winter, I think of Dickens. I really, really do. Christmas time too, for obvious reasons. But winter time just screams Dickens. I want to pick up a book of his. I'm recommending Great Expectations. This one is a coming of age story about an orphan who dreams of just kind of rising above his humble beginnings. Our main character's name is Pip. And we just see him navigate life, love, and hey, fun fact, Pip runs into some money, right? So we kind of see the mystery of this sudden wealth and also how he handles this wealth. What I love about the story is the unforgettable characters. They're really interesting. This book is very atmospheric. And, we do get wintry streets in England as well. And again, Victorian. I just feel like Victorian classics are better read during winter, just me personally. And this is just a really richly layered stories and lots of things. I think this book, and I'm not going to say who, has one of Dickens's most iconic characters. I'm curious to see if anyone knows who that character is. So let me know in the comments. I really, really enjoy this character. I do want to share another classic with you. For some reason, the book cover disappeared. So we're going to try and bring it up here as I'm chatting. Now, this classic is Russian. So y'all can maybe try and guess. It's a Russian classic. I just feel like everyone has to read this at least once. For some reason, the cover ain't coming, but it's Anna Karenina. Now, I think Anna Karenina is just better read in winter because, yes, it's one of those chunky books, but it's just really, really good. It has two characters that I think you're going to relate to one character more, which is Anna, or you're going to relate to or other character as well. And I'm really curious to kind of see which one people gravitate towards. So either your team Anna or your team Levin. Anyway, if you're not familiar, Anna is a love story. It's also a tragedy. We follow our main character, Anna, who's a married woman. She's, high society, aristocratic, but we see her fall into this very passionate, but it's also a very doomed love affair with Count Vronsky. Alongside them, we also have a character I love, Levin, who he's going through something really unique. He's trying to find meaning in his life. He's also grappling with lots of big questions. I kind of feel like Levin is how should I say it? It's kind of like autofiction. I kind of felt like Tolstoy was exploring a lot of things with him and his life through Levin. So we see him grappling with religion and faith and family and just love and what to do. We do have some wintry settings in this one, but again, I just kind of feel like winter is perfect for those chunky books. So if you haven't already, Anna Karenina is perfect. And I do think it's one of the greatest novels. I mean, what do you think? Do you agree if you've read it? And also, if you've read it, I'd love to know which character you connected with more. Was it Anna or was it Levin? I don't think anyone is Team Vronsky, but you never know. You never know. So let me know in the comments. But quick roundup for winter, I'm recommending Anna Karenina. I'm recommending Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I'm also recommending Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. I'm recommending any or all of Sherlock Holmes. Again, this edition is a complete edition that I have. It's a big chunker down there. It has all the novels and stories that feature Dickens. And I'm also recommending Jane Eyre. So those are the books I'm recommending. I'm really excited to hear what Fran and Laura think.
Those are perfect for winter. For sure.
I think it's chunky book season, especially if you're going to go classic, chunky, heavy, brooding,
Yeah.
Perfect.
I think for 2025, it's probably going to go deep into Agatha Christie because I've been a whole cozy mystery went down the rabbit hole 2024. So I feel like it's a rite of passage. Just go to OG, so I'm going to use your blog post that has where to get started.
Yes. I do have that blog post, Where to Get Started with Christie. I will say, Murder on Orient Express, I don't think that should be a first book, everyone. So I know I recommended it. It's good for winter, but it's not a good starting point. I feel it's one of those you kind of have to work your way up towards.
Yeah.
So that should be book 3 or book 5. I'm just saying. Perfect. But yes. Well, I'm excited for Francesca to share her books because these are the snowy reads. Snow.
Yeah. The only common thread with all of these books is the fact that there is snow somewhere involved in the story. So I have a little bit of everything. I have a cozy mystery with a little bit of romance, some contemporary, and also historical. So let's start with the first one, which is Come As You Are by Jess K. Hardy. So this one is a contemporary romance, and it is set at a ski hill kind of resort, basically. It is a Gen X romance. So if you're looking for that vibe, both characters are more mature, think in their 50s. So in this one, the heroine is divorced and she owns a ski hill. She's really down on her luck financially, so she's really struggling to keep paying the bills and keep her business. And a lot of that comes from a really vengeful ex-husband who's been scheming against her because he wants to buy out the mountain from her. And she obviously just wants to keep her business, so she's struggling with how to keep employees helping her and all of that. So she ends up hiring a crew of men from a sober living home. And that's kind of how her plan is for the season, to keep everything functional. And that comes with, of course, they come and live there on the property because they have to maintain everything. Of course, that comes with the man that is running that sober living home, who happens to be an ex grunge rocker. So he was all about that line life and all the bad stuff that comes with it. And he decided to step away from that years ago and just kind of like he hit rock bottom. And the way he clawed his way out of that, he's wanted to, like, he's made it his life mission to help others do the same. So he runs this sober living home, and he comes with that crew because he's got to make sure that his men are okay. And it is a really fun relationship between the two of them. She just wants no distraction, and she just wants to like put her head down and work and keep her business going. And then there's this really hot, like, he's 53, he's tatted, he's bearded, like kind of rugged looking, and he's also like afraid of heights, and he wants to learn to ski. So like they have this really cute relationship at the same time. So it's a very endearing story, of course set in the snow because it is set while they're running the ski hill. So it's really fun. I also really like the growth that he talks about, where he came from, what he had to go through, and where he's at, and how he's changed his life for the better, and how he's helping other people as well. So it has lots of great messages, but it's also really cute, really sweet, and also pretty steamy. So, and it is a series. There is another book in the series as well if you want to continue reading on. The second book is Snowed In by Nevessa Allen. And with this one, I wanted to bring this one up because I know Nevessa Allen is super popular right now. It is the same author of Lights Out. This is an older book. I think this one came out in 2020. So you can definitely tell in the writing that it's something she's written before what we're used to with Lights Out. However, it is perfect for the season. So this is set in a very small, really remote town, and it is dead in the middle of winter. There's snow everywhere, and our heroine, she's lived there her whole life, so she kind of knows the routine. Everything is kind of boring there. There's really not a lot to do, and that boring routine is just broken up by spending some time with family here and there, and that's about it as far as winter. So she gets to her uncle's house. He's got a new neighbor that he wants to introduce to her because he's new in town. He doesn't know anyone. So her uncle feels that she could help him out, just kind of keep him company and take him around and things like that. And when she gets there to meet this neighbor, turns out that she recognizes him, and it's actually an ex-football player, super popular football player, who retired after his brother had died in a horrible car accident, and pretty much nobody knows like what's happened to him. So she recognizes him immediately. She plays along the fact that like he was playing it off like he wasn't that person, so she goes along with that. And they establish this friendship where she's basically the only person that he can spend time with because he just wants to be away from everybody. He's processing a lot with what happened to his brother, plus his own issues, because this book it centers a lot around the health issues that football players can have from repeated concussions. So that is basically what had happened to his brother, and that is a potential issue that he's dealing with himself as well. So there's a lot of that medical tension going on in the storyline. And also because of what happened to his brother, he's been dealing with his own depression and his own issues. So that's why he's in this remote town. He doesn't want anything to do with anybody, but she's the only person that breaks through and that he enjoys spending time with, even though she knows who he is. But she makes him feel like a normal person, and she is that person that he can open up with. So it really is a very sweet relationship that develops between the two of them. There's also some really adorable dogs playing in the snow, so it's really cute. It's got that cozy cabin setting, but even though it's called Snowed In, they're not actually like snowbound. So just putting that out there in case that's what it sounds like. The third book, I told myself I wasn't going to put a holiday book, but this one felt like right. to mention here, and it's The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ali Carter. This is a cozy mystery, but it does have a romance in it. Very light romance, but it is there. And these are two mystery authors, and they're basically rivals. So they've hated each other basically for years, and they both get invited to this other huge mystery author's Christmas party. And at the party, the big mystery author disappears and is presumed to be dead, and they're all trying to figure out what's happening. Where is she? At the same time, they get snowbound on the estate because of a huge storm that basically cuts off all the roads, while this big author also disappeared. So it does have that locked room vibe to it. And while these two have to work together to pick up the clues and figure out what happened to her, which obviously should be easy because they're both mystery authors, so they should pretty much get it right. So it is a really fun story. I mean, they're both fighting for their lives while running around through this estate in the middle of snow as well. So there's lots of that tension with a cozy mystery, a little bit more high stakes, I would say, than a normal cozy mystery, but still really, really fun. And also, you're getting that small dash of romance, which I really appreciated. So this one was a super fast read, really enjoyed it. Then the fourth book that I have for you guys today is a sports romance. So this is Seduction on the Slopes by Tamsin Parker. It is part of a whole series. So if you want to read sport, like winter sports series, this one has pretty much a little bit of everything. It is centered around the snow and ice games. So think like Winter Olympics kind of stuff. And there's, like I said, a little bit of everything. There's male-female relationships in the series. There's male-male relationships. There's even a sapphic romance in the series. So there's a little bit of everything in the series. This one is about two skiers. And the one of them is the more established, kind of the one that's retiring this year. This is going to be his last competition, his last games. And he basically wants to go off and win gold so that he can retire with that last thing on his resume, basically. And the younger skier is the newcomer, let's say, but he's really climbed through the ranks, and he's a very good contender for winning gold that year. But of course, there's the tension between them because being the last games, the other one wants to win it. So there's a lot of competitiveness between them. But there's also the fact that the younger guy looked up to the older guy his whole life. Like that was actually the reason he got into the sport, was looking up to this other person, this his whole teenage years. And now to be able to like be in the same room together and like actually getting to know each other, there's definitely other feelings that are developing at the same time that they're still rivals and they really both want gold. So there's lots of that tension in this one, plus lots of winter sports, which is a ton of fun. And like I said, it's a whole series if you want more. The next book, it's a historical, and it's called It Happened One Winter by Christy Caldwell. This is part of a series, but you can read this as a standalone, and it's also a super short novella. So it's perfect for that end of the year. If you just want something to read on like a cold winter night, it's perfect. What I really loved about this one is that it's not the regular dukes and kind of stuff. Both of our main characters are just common people. So the hero is a London builder, and the heroine is a widowed mother. So she has three children that she's barely making ends meet to keep the house afloat. And the hero is actually in the wilds of Yorkshire working on a build. And the reason he's there is he's basically stuck there because his business partner made a terrible decision. Now he's stuck there trying to build this home, and he hates it. He doesn't want to be there. But it gets even worse when he's got these children from the house next door that keep traipsing through his construction site because they think it's like a place to come and play. So it ends up being, of course, the children of our heroine, and she is there because it's her sister's place, and they're having a house party, and she's determined that this is the place and the time where she's going to find a husband because she needs some financial stability and some security for her children. So, of course, the hero is not the kind of husband that she should be looking for, because she needs to provide for her children a different kind of life according to what society expects. So it's definitely a sweet one. There's lots of cute moments with children too, if you like that kind of stuff. So really a short novella and really sweet and heartwarming. And then the last book, it's my Snowbound story. It is Snowbound by Larissa Ione. The hero of the story is an ex-Olympic, I think, skier. Can't remember, but he was a professional athlete, winter sports athlete, and he's basically dealt with a lot of medical issues for the past couple of years, which obviously took his career out. So he's been slowly now trying to get back into what he loved to do, which is just be out in the snow. And so he's working as a kind of like a rescuer at this resort. And the heroine is a oh gosh, I don't remember now where she was working. Hold on. I think she was a journalist. No, she was a manager at a radio station. And she's basically very focused on her career and just spending time at this resort. She wants nothing to do with him because he's very adventurous. They're like complete opposites from each other. She's very straight-laced and he's more of the wild, like if you think of the stereotype of what somebody that would be into all the winter sports, like that's him. So they basically clash throughout this whole time that they're interacting with at the resort until she ends up getting stranded. Of course, he's coming to rescue her, and there's the middle of a winter storm, and they get snowbound. They have to seek refuge at a cabin, and they spend some quality time together there, which of course sparks other feelings that they have for each other. So this is also quite short and a lot of fun. I think that Larissa Ione usually is known more for her paranormals, but she has written some contemporaries, so you should definitely check this one out too. And that's it.
I was like, how do we get back up here? But anyway, I have to say, the most wonderful crime of the year. I got that book in book mail. I haven't read it yet, so I can't say anything. But it looks really, really exciting. And I was like, oh, this could be one of my weekends at home read.
Yeah, it's super fast.
I actually listened to it on audio, and it's so excellent because you're like trying to guess what's going on, all the different hijinks, and it's just like it's this perfect locked door mystery. Yet at the same time, like you're trying to figure out what happened to this mystery author that they're following, and it's like, how did she escape? You know? Like it's just like this fun layer upon layer upon layer, and there's some romance, but how did she come up with these couple, and like how the mastermind was happening? Oh, it was delightful.
It was just fun. It was fun.
Okay, well, we have something to look forward to. All right, so Laura is going to be sharing some KU fantasy. I'm really excited to hear all about it.
So fantasy is winter is the right time to read fantasy. They're thick books. There's some world building. There's some like romance. There's some plotty thing. There's some character development. So it's just a good time. I usually read fantasy during the winter, and I'll tell you from my recommendations, some of them that I read. So we got to start with the KU. KU is a great service for you to borrow books and not having to spend no money on it. So I have to tell you, The Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, the first two books, the series, are both available on Kindle Unlimited. I know Fourth Wing was available for a while, but I just checked this afternoon, and Iron Flame is available. So Onyx Storm, the third book in the series, comes out next month. So you can binge the first two books. So I've read Fourth Wing. That's the only one I read. I have not read Iron Flame. Fourth Wing is about a dragon school, a girl who's ill-equipped, who has some chronic illness, and she has to go and be a dragon rider. It's a school that they're prepared for a war, but we're not sure what's happening. And it's just everyone dies, and it's just dragons. And that's my favorite part of the book, was just the dragons. I care. It's okay about Violet's journey, but the dragons were the fun thing, at least for me. But I have friends who have been listening to it. There's a graphic audio. If you want to listen with dramatized version, they're available in Hoopla, or there's like the regular audiobook, or the books you can read them for Kindle Unlimited. So the first 2 books are available in Kindle Unlimited. The 3rd book comes out next month, and you can purchase them. So if you want to binge them and get ready for it, you can do those from Kindle Unlimited. So the third book that I'm recommending, we're going to The Serpents and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. So Carissa Broadbent is actually one of my favorite fantasy authors, and she's underrated. She's getting popular, but it's at the time she's like, I like her better sometimes than Sarah J. Maas. And I've been reading fantasy for almost 10 years. Actually longer. I've been reading fantasy for about almost 20 years. So it's been a long time, but I really like The Serpents and the Wings of Night. It's if you like Akatar, this is kind of like similar. She's a girl who is basically was raised by this king. She's a human, but there's all these otherworldly activities, and there's like a competition that she has to compete, and there's like enemies to lovers kind of deal, but they have to compete together, and then they realize they have something in common. I read the first book in the series. I didn't read the second book, but I'll add it in. They're actually duologies. So there's a companion novel. It ends with a cliffhanger, but it's good that the second book is out. And then the 3rd book is Somber and of the Heart and Stone, which is the Heart of Stone. So this is a 3rd novel. It's a start of a new duology. So there's going to be 6 books total for duologies. Other Carissa Broadbent's books that I enjoy, Daughter of New World, which I don't have an image, but it's fascinating. It's so good. That's a trilogy. The old books are out. They're great books to binge on, and I actually binged them in 2023. I ended up just loving the journey. So it was like a fun journey to go through. So if you're looking for someone like an author that's like tried and true, but you already have read all of Sarah J. Maas and you're just like, I need something else, Carissa Broadbent is for you. All right, so now we're going to go to some of the newer and more popular, and I'm leaning into the populars because they're tried and true books that actually like can get you into the fantasy world, and then you can go deep down into the things you like. So the next one is Phantasma. I think Francesca recommended it earlier this year when it just came out. So if you have read Caraval, which is the night circus, the idea of like, you go into like you're tasked to find your sister and this like game of love and stuff like that. Similar stories, but it's different. This is New Orleans. She's a necromancer. Her sister disappears, and she has to enter this kind of like game, and she can see ghosts. That's what necromancer is. So she has to compete and try to figure out. So the first book is out, is in Kindle Unlimited. I actually bought the audio and I'm listening to it, and it's $7.49. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can get the audio for a discounted price. So both experiences are great. I've been toggle reading between the book and the stuff. And then there's going to be a second book, and you'll find out based on the ending. The second book it seems to be a complete standalone. So this is a standalone book, but it does have a cliffhanger, and we'll hear from the next book. So that's Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. All right, the next one is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. This book is just got a 7-figure book auction deal with Netflix. So Netflix is paying 7 figures just to make this story. So I actually started reading. It's about phase. It's about like unknowns. It's about like you're like a world, like dystopian world, like you're trying to figure out. And she's not supposed to do something, and a fae finds out, and we had to figure out. I'm only like 1% because this is a long book, but I did buy the audio, so I think I'm gonna like listen to it and I'll report back in a future episode. But I feel like this is like really one reviews have been like they love it. It's tried and true. It's enjoyable. It is slower, but it does pick up in the last part of it. So if you want a hefty tome that you can just like spend nights curling and just looking forward to reading it, Quicksilver is for you. All right, the next book that I actually just finished reading, it's Forged in Blood. And so this is the most spicy out of all the things. This is a white choose vampire romance. It's kind of like paranormal, kind of dibble dabbles in fantasy romance in some ways. There's not a lot of world building. This is set in a college. like with other worldly experience, like other worldly beings. So there's werewolves, there's witches, there's vampires, there's a hunt, there's the stuff. But it's basically the story of this, foster child, orphan girl who comes to college, and basically she has some abilities, but we don't know what those abilities are. And then she gets seen and gets imprinted by vampires, by 3 strong vampires, and the sire who made the vampires. So he's the professor, and her blood works for them, and they have an attachment, and there's a lot of sex scenes. Like, it's a lot. I got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm skipping half of it. So the world building is important. The world building is there, and there's a second book that just came out, and there's going to be a third book. So there's 3 books in the series. They're all in Kindle Limited. The audiobook should be coming out probably 2 days from now, so you can listen to. If you're looking for a spicy, like paranormal romance with like high heat, this book is for you. And then the final one is Spark of the Everflame. This is a 4-book series. It's a 4-book series. The audios are Audible exclusive. So again, you borrow them from Kindle Limited and get the audio for cheaper, so you don't have to pay full price. But this series is about, again, someone who is orphaned, and she ends up in the underworld. And then she discovers her mother has secrets, and she is sort of enemies to lovers with the heir of the throne of the underworld while the king is about to retire. So it's 4-book series. I think all 4 books are out by now, so you can binge on them. So I hope these are recommendations. That if you have read all Sarah J. Maas, Throne of Glass, ACOTAR, and Crescent City, and even Fourth Wing you already read, and you're looking for some other recommendations, these are good starter pack. And then go to your Kindle. When you go on Kindle Limited, look at what other books are recommended on the bottom. So if you're looking for that similar vibe, they'll give you recommendations. I will be posting more recommendations on the blog in the next couple of weeks, but there's more recommendations. If you're looking for fantasy romance, there's plenty out there.
Yeah. Awesome. Love the Rex.
Yeah.
I find it interesting. Iron Flame is free on KU. I'm just saying.
I was like, I thought they wanted to make you pay for it, but if you're telling me it's free, then I can read it.
Why not? I mean, there's no rhyme or reason why these publishers do what they do. I swear.
And all of these books have been picked up by a publisher. They started indie. They all have been picked up by a publisher, but they remain on KU. They're all publisher books. And so second or third books, you may have to wait because the publisher picked up the rights and they're actually like editing and doing the whatever publishers do. So
Well, everyone, those are our winter reads. Let us know in the comments. Talk to us. We don't bite. Let us know in the comments your thoughts on the books we shared with you today. If you're just joining us, let us know in the comments. What's your favorite book to read at winter, or what book you think just is a good winter read set during winter, better read at winter? It really doesn't matter. If you have a recommendation, share it in the comments. Replay crew, we'd love to hear from you as well. So also share. Now, if you're just joining us as well, you might have missed our earlier announcement. So I am dropping the winter reading guide tomorrow in my Substack newsletter. It's going to be a Substack exclusive. So just click the link in the video's description to go over to Substack, or just go to winterreadingguide.com. So winterreadingguide.com. It will take you to my blog. You'll see all the information and then the link to go to Substack. You'll also see links to the past guides. So lots to look forward to tomorrow. I'm really excited for that as well. But Francesca also has Romanceopoly. Fran, tell them about it if they're just joining.
So if you're just joining Romanceopoly, all the information for the 2025 yearly reading challenge just dropped last weekend. So you can go to romanceopoly.com and learn all about it. So basically, it's our yearly kind of a board game reading challenge. We have a brand new map for 2025. We are stepping away from our usual Monopoly board, and now it's a cute little map. So you're going to be kind of moving through 4 different towns. It is very seasonal. The prompts are also seasonal, also the map. So it's very cute. But there are lots of fun prompts that will help you have a reading year that has a lot of variety, a lot of different subgenres. So you're going to try all new different things and hopefully find something that maybe you haven't read before that you really love.
Yes. We hope you find recommendations that you love. I'm really excited for the show for the next couple of nights. Again, I don't know where the calendar went, but it decided to disappear on me and I can't find it. Wait, this might be it. Wait. This might be it. It's coming. Yay. Okay. So it's not the latest because we just did the winter reading guide, obviously. But coming up next week, we are doing the best books of 2024. We're going to be live. So come with your list. Come with your list of books that were just absolute standouts. All right. Bring a list of 3, bring a list of 5, bring a list of 10. Share it in the comments. We're really excited. We want to hear from you. And then the following week, yes, the date is right, December 26th. I know it's the day after Christmas. It's fine. That one is going to be a pre-recorded show, just letting you all know. But we're going to be sharing our most anticipated books for 2025. So again, if you have a list of books you're excited to read or you want to discover some new books, then you need to come to the show because we have some books for you. Remember, we gather every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. New York time. We go live. So no matter where you are in the world, just do the little conversion, However, if it's really, really late where you are, just watch the replay, but talk to us in the comments because we'd love to hear from you. I'm trying to think, anything else we haven't covered? I don't think so. I think that's it. So I hope you all will join us next week again for Novel Nights. All righty, everyone.